So that is why you should get into FBM. So let's get started. So in today's video, we are going to see why and what is the difference between Amazon FBA and Amazon FBM and which is the best one you should select. So that is what we are going to find out today. What is the best for you? Is it Amazon FBA or Amazon FBM? So just to give a very introduction of Amazon FBA, FBA is fulfilled by Amazon and FBM is fulfilled by merchant. So in Amazon FBA, the whole process of picking a product from the warehouse to deliver up to the Amazon customer is done by Amazon. Whereas in FBM, the fulfillment is completely taken care by the merchant, including the return of the products back to the seller. So having said that, which is the best one to sell on Amazon? Well, if you want to sell on Amazon and if you are looking to sell product, which Amazon FBA is a great product if you have high moving inventory, if you know your product is selling great, and you know that you can clear your inventory within a month or 3 months from the Amazon warehouse. Since if you send an inventory to Amazon FBA, and if your inventory is lying in the Amazon FBA for more than 6 months, you will start incurring long-term storage fees, which are quite expensive. So if you are not sure if your product falls in a category which is a high, fast moving, you should get into an FBM product. At the same time, if your product is a heavy product, if your product is extremely heavy, something like a furniture, then FBA is not a right thing to do. I think then you should get into an FBM, which is fulfillment by merchant, which means where you yourself fulfill the product. Earlier times, before this, earlier times like a month or 2 months back, Amazon used to give more weightage to Amazon FBA over FBM. But going forward, due to a lot of UN care and FTC rulings, Amazon has again started giving importance to FBM. So what that means is, if you are selling your product on FBA versus selling on FBM, earlier times FBA used to get a buy box and FBM guys never used to get a buy box. But Amazon has started seller prime, which means the sellers which fulfill the product delivery within a time span as same as Amazon FBA, they also are eligible for the buy box. So basically, they have brought both FBA and FBM at par. So just saying that you will get a priority on shipping or priority on buy box, just by saying that you will get a priority on buy box by just selling via Amazon FBA is no longer a critical part of it. It was earlier, but not anymore. So if you really want to sell on Amazon, the main deciding factor for you to decide whether to go with FBA or FBM is 4 things. First is the weight of your product. Is your product fast moving? And how much inventory you can send to Amazon? If the inventory which you want to send to Amazon is limited and your product is not fast moving, I suggest you start with FBM. Apart from that, the 4th thing which does determine is whether the product is something which is a unique product. If the product is unique, which in that case, I suggest you go with FBM, and you can start with FBM and slowly take it to FBA. FBA, the other challenge with FBA is that there are limitations of inventory you can set on Amazon FBA. If you let's say if you manufacture a product which is 10,000 units and you are allowed to put only 1,000 units into FBA, what you're going to do of 9,000 units? So a lot of times you can also go with FBA as well as FBM, which means you can fulfill it by Amazon and you can also put an option wherein you can also fulfill by merchant. So let the buyer decide whether he wants the product to be fulfilled by you or fulfilled by merchant. Having said that, US being a very huge state, US being a huge country and having multiple states, I suggest FBA can be a better option, because what happens is when you send your product or your inventory into Amazon, Amazon distributes that inventory into multiple locations, into multiple FBAs, depending upon its algorithm which decides the demand of the product where it's needed. So let's say if you are in East Coast or if you're in West Coast, assuming you are staying in East Coast, and if you want to do FBM, the limitations of yours is that you will be able to deliver faster in the same coast where you are living as compared to FBA, which will send your product not just on the East Coast but also in the Midwest and in the West Coast and in multiple locations where it feels that there's a huge demand. whereby they are able to fulfill the product at a much faster pace. So that's a major advantage of working with FBA. At the same time, when you work with FBA, the returns are taken care by Amazon. Amazon also provides a better shipping rates as compared to other third-party carriers. But then, as I said, if the product is something which is very heavy, I don't think you should get into an FBA for those kind of products. But if the product is small, which fits in the palm of a hand or within a box or within the shoe box, I think that's a perfect product to do an FBA. At the same time, if you want to just test your markets, then if you're testing your market, whether your product will sell or not sell, FBM can be a good one to start. But having said that, if it's a product which is in the competitive space, FBM may not be the right one thing to do. Unless you are a very well-known seller, to Amazon and you have Seller Prime badge and you can achieve the same delivery times as Amazon, then you are able for Prime deliveries also. Which means that the Amazon Prime customers can buy from you and expect the same kind of a delivery times. Then you are eligible for buy box, especially in those categories where you are wholesaling with other brand sellers. So having said that, so yeah, that's all we have for today. I hope this helps solve your queries with the FBA or FBM. Just to sum it up, if you are getting into a heavy product, in simple word terms, go to FBM. If you are getting into a small product with a high demand, go to FBA. If you have any queries or comments, do drop your questions in the comment section and I'm happy to solve your queries. Cheers.